From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Well, thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Caitlin Kendall. The sun is shining brightly this noon hour, and it is certainly warming things up a bit, and it's only going to continue to get better. A great way to start the weekend, I should say, Todd, because it's been pretty bitter these past few days.
You know, it's been a really cold week, no doubt about it, Caitlin, and kind of active as well. No real big snowstorms, but kind of these little snows over and over again. Well, we're finally turning the corner. Yesterday, your high temperature got up to 20 degrees. We're already above that now here at the noon hour on this Friday, as we just went up to 23 degrees, 24 in Bloomington, 22 in Peru. Obviously, that's still really cold and you need to bundle up. But today is kind of that turning point to at least bring some warmer temperatures in over the weekend and into next week. Anytime you can get the sunshine this time of year, it definitely helps, as that February sun getting higher in the sky and stronger, and that's helping us out. A few lingering clouds here now at the noon hour on the eastern side of the state, slowly been clearing from west to east. And as you look back off to our west, there's really nothing going on, and that's the sunshine you'll enjoy here throughout the afternoon hours. We'll continue to warm up to right around the 30 degrees for your afternoon high, and then going forward, we have some 40s and we have some 50s in your 7-day planning forecast. More on that, Caitlin, in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you for that. The head of the Knightstown Police Department is stepping away from the post, and that has people who live in the area concerned about their safety. Town Marshal Frank Beatrice announced that he's resigning and says another member of the force is joining him. Beatrice blames ongoing issues over the last 2 years with the clerk treasurer. The department only had 3 officers, 2, including the chief, may be leaving, which leaves only 1 officer who's in training right now. He is in his resignation letter. Beatrice said the position brought unnecessary stress. Townspeople brought their questions and concerns to the town council meeting on Thursday night. The president of the council says that he's confused about Beatrice's decision to leave.
I'm concerned too. I'm very concerned that we won't have a police chief in a few days. But we will work to replace our police chief. You know, I wish he would stay. But you know, unfortunately he's made that decision, and we'll go out and search for a new police chief. And also we have an opening for, I'll say, up to 2 more officers.
2 members of the council also resigned in support of Chief Beatrice. Back in 2020, the majority of the Knightstown police force resigned before Beatrice stepped into that chief role. Tomorrow, Bike Indianapolis will be gathering to honor the life of a bicyclist killed in a crash and push for safety changes. Dylan Rogers was riding his bike around 7:15 the morning of February 13th when he was hit at Raymond and Shelby. That driver did stay on the scene. Tomorrow at 1, Bike Indianapolis is going to hold a vigil at the site to honor his life. The group will also be asking DPW and INDOT to make safety improvements in the area, and they will hold a group bike ride to complete Rogers' final ride home that he wasn't able to finish. Covering the State House now, state lawmakers are going to be off next week for their mid-session break. But before leaving, a bill that would require public school districts to share money from property taxes with charter schools passed the Senate. It is now headed to the House, and the bill could heavily impact tax revenue for IPS, since Indianapolis and Marion County have several charter schools. We're going to, of course, keep on track of this bill as it makes its way through the House, and we'll bring you up to speed as to where it goes next. The House also passed its version of a state budget plan, and what's not included is catching the attention of legendary country music artist Dolly Parton, who founded the Imagination Library. There's no funding for it. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library provides free books to children up to 5. In 2023, the program expanded to all 92 counties in Indiana. Half of the program's costs are covered by library partners. The other half paid for by the state. The current budget proposal does not allocate any money toward that program. Parton released a statement saying that she hopes the funding is going to be sorted and said, quote, "The beauty of the Imagination Library is that it unites us all, regardless of politics, because every child deserves the chance to dream big and succeed." Democratic Indianapolis Representative Ed Delaney also released a statement today saying that he supports restoring and increasing state funding for the program. He called it a much-needed investment in Indiana's future. The budget now goes to the Senate, where changes are expected on several fronts. This weekend, history will be made in Hamilton County. The Fishers Event Center is hosting the inaugural Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match. The event is putting Hamilton County on a national stage. The Indy Ignite and the Fishers Event Center are hosting the match. The Ignite are also in their first season in the league, and Hamilton County Sports Authority says the league took notice of how well the community has welcomed the Ignite and all the amenities the Event Center has to offer. It's also home to the Indy Fuel, Fishers Freight, and of course, it hosts some concerts.
It just means more opportunity, so we can get involved, get in front of people who own events, people who tour the country to look for places to house their events. It just gives us just one more opportunity to get in front of them.
All 8 teams in the league will be represented on the All-Star roster, including 4 Indy Ignite players. The match is set for 1:30 on Saturday. A very special guest paid a visit to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis this morning to celebrate a brand new exhibit. Mickey Mouse himself was there to help cut the ribbon on the new Mickey Mouse Clubhouse exhibit. Children who are patients at Riley Hospital for Children and their parents were the first to get an opportunity to check it out before it opens to the public tomorrow. There were smiles all the way around.
We can envision so much, but really the exhibit comes to life when you see the littles come in and it's that gasp and they're excited to turn the corner, and then their imaginations really kick in and they feel like they're inside the clubhouse. So it's a great day for us.
What a remarkable day for them. This is the first ever museum exhibit inspired by the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse TV series, and it promotes all kinds of interactive experiences. Unfortunately, Mickey's not going to be there moving forward, but it's just a special appearance for the Riley kids. That exhibit, by the way, opens tomorrow and runs through September 1st. Making the library even more accessible to kids. Coming up, a digital library card can open up educational possibilities and connect them to resources so they can help learn. Todd?
Still a chill in the air this weekend, but the good news is as we get into next week, we're going to see temperatures in the 50s, and those temperatures warmed through the weekend. We'll share your 7-day planning forecast with you coming up as the news at noon continues.
You're watching WRTV, part of the Scripps News Group.
Having a library card can open up worlds for kids. Having a digital library card can really actually expand their educational opportunities. And right now, not every child has that chance. WRTV's Rachel Wilkerson is spreading the word about a program helping connect students with what they need to learn better.
It sure does. Oh boy, oh boy.
Reading is a favorite hobby for Sarah, Ethan, and Jade, students at Enlace Academy.
Sometimes I come with my friends to pick out a book because the books inspire me to read more.
The Indianapolis Public Library partnered with the K-8 charter school to make sure all students have access to digital library cards through its e-resource card campaign. It's to give all public school students in Marion County access to library resources like ebooks, audiobooks, streaming music, and learning materials.
But I have used it on a little app on my tablet called Libby, and it has a lot of free books.
I get like 4 to 3 books every time.
Sarah Batt with IPL says this provides resources to students who might not have transportation.
It is a way for the public library to reach into parts of the city where branches just aren't as accessible as we would hope they could be.
Not having access really hinders them from wanting to read, encouraging them to read. Sometimes it could be a struggle to find a book maybe at the school that they really like.
Enlace says before, only 240 students out of their 685 had library cards. Andrea Hobbs says it's been a great tool for her daughter and hopes other parents will check it out.
When your mom says, I just need 5 minutes to myself, here is your trick, Mom. Give them an online book.
Sarah Merritt is the reading interventionist at Enlace Academy. She uses the e-resource card for learning materials.
But when students have these cards and when teachers know what to do with the cards, you can use it in the classroom. I would not be half the reading teacher I am if I didn't have access to NDPL.
Make sure you read a lot of books because it can give you the right information that you need. And it will help you get smarter.
Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
If you know your Black history, you know about the Green Book and how important it was for travelers in the days of Jim Crow. Todd Simmons here to show you one of the locations in Indy that is still around.
Black history is not always positive. It is many times painful and filled with prejudice, including not even being allowed to stay at a hotel. WRTV's Todd Simmons shows us the list of places in Indy that did accept black travelers, and the only one you can still visit today.
The Green Book is more than a movie. It was a guide to survival in the days of Jim Crow. If you look through this book today, you'll realize there aren't that many locations left, but the select few are still around.
The color of your skin once determined where you could lay your head at night. But the Severin Hotel was an oasis for Indy's black visitors during segregation, a history hotel GM Steve Quackenbush is proud of.
The effort that was made to make travel safe back in a time that was kind of a challenging period in history.
Black travelers knew where to go during Jim Crow because of the Negro Motorist Green Book, a guide published until 1966, which showed places where they would not be denied because of their race. 80% of the sites listed are now gone, according to the National Park Service, including 6 of the 7 hotels featured in Indy, but the Severin is still standing.
We're honored to represent all the people who were represented in that book.
What happened to the other 6 hotels? The former Senate Avenue YMCA is the only one with a historical marker. That's all that remains. It's a parking lot now. The YWCA was across West Street from the Walker Theater. An apartment complex now stands at the address. The Hawaii or Marquee site on Indiana Avenue is also apartments. It's the Canal Overlook, coincidentally right across the street from the Senate YMCA site. The harbor on Illinois Street was behind the Scottish Rite Temple, but like the YMCA, it's paved over. And you cannot build anything where the Ferguson once was. I-65 runs right through where it stood on 11th and Capitol. The Severin just finished renovations to restore its Art Deco era glory. You can look around and imagine the people who needed a good night's sleep to escape the fear of racism. In downtown Indy, Todd Simmons, WRTV.
This morning, some of you started off in the single digits. Others of you, where the clouds were in place, only got down into the upper teens. There was a big difference in low temperatures, and it was all due to cloud cover that was out there. But as you look here off to the west now, you can see the clouds have cleared out, nothing but sunshine. And with the sunshine and fairly light winds out there, our temperatures have climbed. We're up into the 20s. In fact, yesterday, our high was only 20 degrees. We're at 23 right now. Feels like 15, but these winds are out of the southwest. So we've changed wind direction from that real cold northerly wind that we had earlier in the week, and those southerly winds are going to continue to help to increase our high temperatures as we work our way throughout the weekend. Close to 30 right now in Greencastle, 24 in Bloomington as well as Muncie, 23 is the current temperature in Richmond. Again, you can knock a couple degrees off those actual temperatures to what it really feels like with that little light breeze that's out of the south, but the clouds continue to move off to the east. We had sunshine all day long in western locations. We kind of cleared out pretty quickly this morning in Indy, and now we're just hanging on to a few clouds there on the far eastern side of the state. But when you look at the country, with the exception of some light snow in the Denver area, it's really, really quiet. We no longer have those parades of storms making their way across the country very quickly, and that's going to result in our weather being fairly quiet going forward as we work our way into the coming days. Here are your high temperatures for today: 30, tomorrow up to 34, and then you notice by Monday and Tuesday, we're looking at temperatures into the 50s, and here's how it compares to normal. Your normal high now is 43 this time of year, so 13 degrees below normal for the day today. But Sunday's kind of that day we get back to seasonable weather, and then Monday and Tuesday, those high temperatures will be above normal by about 7 to 8 degrees. This evening, if you do have plans, it's Friday night after all. We have mainly clear skies, temperatures in the 20s, eventually falling into the teens. And even though we've been talking about this warm up for high temperatures, it's still going to be really cold tomorrow when you wake up. In fact, some of you are probably in the single digits to start your Saturday. So if you have any early plans to kick off the weekend, just know you'll have to really, really bundle up if you're going to be out and about. But by the afternoon, we're into the low to mid 30s on Saturday. And then on Sunday, again, we get up to right around 42 degrees, and we'll keep the dry weather around all the way through the weekend as well. And then here we are on Monday and Tuesday with temperatures right around 50 degrees. Wednesday, 52. We can hold the clouds off long enough, and it's be a front coming through on Wednesday. Not out of the question that maybe we could get up to about 55, 56 degrees in spots before that cold front will come through. But the good news is, with temperatures well above freezing, any precipitation that we do see on Wednesday and Thursday is going to be in the form of all rain. No snow in the next 7 days. We'll take another final look at your forecast here, Caitlin, coming up in just a couple minutes.
Making sure a big part of Indiana's basketball history is never forgotten. We'll take you to the ceremony honoring the late George McGinnis at his high school gym. He made his mark in college and pro basketball, and now the high school where it all began bears the name of hoops legend George McGinnis. Last night, George Washington High School held the official naming ceremony in their gymnasium. George McGinnis led the school to a state basketball championship in 1969. The Continentals finished with a perfect 31-0 record. McGinnis went on to IU, played for the Pacers too, and is part of a Hall of Fame career. But his teammates and classmates knew him as more than just a basketball star.
In spite of all his skills, he was just an ordinary guy. You would never known that he had the success he had because he never talked about it. But he really cared about people that he knew from the beginning, his high school teammates, and they were always special to him.
George was the epitome of someone who, despite his superstar status, never forgot where he came from. And was just a down-to-earth person. You would never know he was a superstar in both the NBA and in college. Just very down-to-earth, very kind, compassionate individual, very humble.
McGinnis won ABA titles with the Pacers. His NBA career took him to Philadelphia and Denver, and then, of course, back to Indiana. He was named to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 2017.
We have a nice dry stretch of weather that's going to take us through the weekend and into the middle of next week. The next chance of precipitation, which will be rain in our area, is going to be on Wednesday as a front makes its way through the area. You also notice the warming trend. Today is obviously still chilly, and tomorrow morning is very cold. But we're above freezing tomorrow afternoon. We're close to average temperatures on Sunday, and then highs will be in the 50s starting on Monday. Here's a live look outside across central Indiana. Our next newscast is at 5 p.m. Have a great weekend.